Okay, good morning, Ben.
Morning.
Thank you so much for doing this. So, as you know, I'm on day 16 of my crowdfunding, the Dash Fund, and I just thought it'd be great to chat to you because obviously you've had a massive part to do with it because you made my amazing film. This week I've been focusing on kind of the creative side of dot dot dash. I've been interviewing all the kind of lovely artists that made my cards about kind of creativity and their journey and the benefits of creativity in their life. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to interview you as a kind of founder of a growing business, as a creative who helps others be creative, and of course, as my lovely friend.
Oh,
So, if you're ready, let's crack on with
yep.
the first question. So, can you tell us a bit about you and your business?
Yeah, sure. So, well, in regards to me and how the business is connected, I'm a filmmaker, and um, my love for film started as long as I can remember. Really, I was a little kid when I used to sneak down and watch films through the gap in the door when my mum and dad were watching them. And yeah, so I've always wanted to be a filmmaker, and I guess that's how StoryJar was born. I just got to a point in my life where, you know, it was like, hang on, you know, this is something you've always wanted to do. Why aren't you pursuing it? Why aren't you doing it? And yeah, I kind of sort of took the leap, set up StoryJar, and yeah, that was about 5 years ago. And luckily, fortunately, touchwood, I've managed to sort of grow it to a, well, we're still very small. We're a teeny business, but yeah, you know, we put out some nice content. We've got a growing client base, good reviews. So yeah, it's all going in the right direction.
So, can you tell us more about that leap? Because it was obviously quite scary to just suddenly start your own business. So, can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So where do I start with that? So I guess my background, I got a degree in filmmaking, which I got in my hometown Wrexham, and my sort of story is I was all set to go to either London Film School or New York Film School, but as life has it, met a girl, and it got quite serious. You know her? She's now my wife, lovely Teresa. And
Oh,
so yeah, things change. When I met Teresa, it was like, well, I don't want to leave this. I don't want to go away from this. So we ended up buying a house, again in our hometown Wrexham. And at that time, I just finished my degree, and it was like, well, there's no film production companies, or there's no Warner Brothers or Fox in Wrexham. I need to make some money. I need to pay the bills, etc., etc. So I fell into sales, and I tell this story a lot. And yeah, I fell into sales. Found I was okay at sales, and made a bit of a career in sales, and ended up working for a fantastic company called Moneypenny, who are based in Wrexham also. Absolutely amazing company, and I worked there for about 8 years, I think. And great career, and we got the house and everything, and it was good. But I'd always had this itch about wanting to do something with film. It was always there, not an itch. It was just, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. And I'd always want to kind of be. I had this urge to sort of be like the captain of my own ship, if that makes sense, and do my own thing. Um, and then yeah, I suppose it got to a point where I kind of got to a point in Moneypenny where this was becoming a bigger thing in my mind, and um, I'd got a bit stagnant in my role. And long story short, ended up having a bit of a heart to heart with my boss, and it was just kind of decided that, well, I should probably leave, really. In a nutshell, and so I did. And yeah, that was super scary, because all of a sudden you go from this, a bubble, what I call it. You're just in this bubble. You've got your sort of regular salary. You're comfortable. Comfortable is the key word. You're just comfortable. Um, which is what I was, but I wasn't necessarily happy because I wasn't fulfilled. So all of a sudden you find yourself in this position. You are not comfortable anymore. You're completely out of your comfort zone, out of your bubble, and you kind of shitting yourself really. But in hindsight to that, that was then the first time I was ever able to really sit down and go, right, what do I want to do? What can I do? I've got no distractions. I had a little bit of savings, so it wasn't like I had to dive straight into another job. So it was about 2 weeks I think I took to just really sit down and map everything out. What am I going to do? What are my skills? What am I good at? What do I love? What's my passion? And I think that was so important. So it all come back to video. That's what I love. That's what I do. So I just mapped out this sort of plan of, right, that's where StoryJar was born first. So I'm going to do a video production company. And again, that was scary because you look at the competition and you look at people who are out there, they've been doing it for 10, 20, 30 years. And, you can look all the way up to, huge companies in London, Adam and Eve and things like that. And the content that they put out, like the John Lewis adverts, and you're like, how am I ever going to even get anywhere near that? It's like looking at Mount Everest or something, thinking, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, no, you'll regret it if you don't do something about it. So mapped it out, started creating some small films, did a music video, did a short film. I reached out to some local businesses in Wrexham, one of which was a local tree carver who did like tree carvings. We did like a little documentary on him and made it really nice and cinematic. So my initial outlay was just a nice camera. So I did invest a bit of money in a nice camera, a website which wasn't expensive. I think I used Wix initially to set up the website and basically just put my portfolio of work on. In terms of income, that first 12 months was really little to no pay. So I did fall back on my sales skills to do a bit of freelancing, sort of business development freelancing, and to help pay the bills. But that first 12 months was just all about, I could talk for ages, I won't bore you, but there was so much going on. There was the portfolio, which is the main thing, but also building up network links as well. So other filmmakers, people I can call upon for bigger projects and to collaborate with, which is also coming towards the end of that 12 months, how I met Danny and Nick, who also ended up working with me as well. So Danny on the creative side, my colleague Nick, who I know from my Money Penny days on the sort of sales and business development side, fantastic salesman. So that was it really, and it was all based around this concept of StoryJar. We just want to tell fantastic stories and tell them really, really well, cinematically. Make it look gorgeous. And that was 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, and we've managed to sort of build it from there really.
Amazing, so cool. I love the story. It's so inspiring and it's so like brave, and like you said, like the Mount Everest and the competition and the kind of the just like, oh, actually I need to just go
just
and do this.
Like the Nike logo, just do it. but even now I still get those fears. I still like, honestly I still think, oh, what the hell am I doing? Great pretender, who are you fooling?
Imposter syndrome.
What's that?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have to tell me about that. I've never heard that. But it is. It's you do get them negative thoughts a lot, but you just got to keep going, I guess.
Yeah, cool. So your passion and your kind of drive for film, can you tell us about where your first memories of being creative and why you wanted to kind of to kind of make that dream happen?
Yeah, well, I touched upon it before. I think it goes back to my mum and dad were huge influences on my passion because they were huge film buffs. So back in the 80s, when it was just me, probably before my brother was born, so I was about 7, 8. Oh, he was born, sorry. Um, but I'd sneak down, I'd wait for him to go to sleep, and I'd know that they've got a film that night. So I'd creep down, I'd just watch whatever they were watching through the gap in the door. So you're talking like absolute classics like Terminator, Aliens, Predator. So when I was a kid, I just wanted to make horror films. It was all about horror for me.
Yeah.
So it all stems to that. I think that was why I got into film so much. And obviously, as I become older, they started to let me watch some films with them. And yeah, all I ever wanted to do was watch films. Still the same, really. Yeah, and I think I wrote when I got to about 9, 8, 9. I wrote a feature-length script, my first feature-length sort of 120-page script, which was a gangster film. I've still got it. I've still got it. I've not read it. I'm pretty sure it's probably not the not the best, but yeah, I wrote a few scripts, and yeah, I still do. Particularly in lockdown, I've been writing a lot. So yeah, it all stems back to that. I think those 80s movies, and yeah, my mum and dad being a big influence.
Amazing. So that script you wrote when you were a 9-year-old, coming soon.
Yeah, probably needs a bit of work, a bit of an update, but yeah, I've still got it somewhere.
Cool. So going towards like StoryJar now and working with like this massive range of different clients with different needs, how do you kind of get, enable those people to be creative and get their creativity on the screen?
Yeah, I think so. I guess when you're talking about clients, but also collaborators, it's important to have an open mind. First of all, it's not like you're this person who knows everything and you've got the best idea all the time. Many times I've been filming on location, and we've got the plan, we've got the sort of the shooting script, and well, this is the next shot, this is what we're going to do, and in some cases Danny has stopped me and go, well, actually, isn't this a better idea? Now we're here and you can see things differently. And in some cases the client has put forward an idea, and you have to have an open mind and say, actually, yeah, I think if it's valid and it's going to help tell the story better, and it's going to ultimately enhance the project, improve the project, then you've got to take that on board and go with that. So it's about having an open mind. But in terms of driving creativity, yeah, I think it's important to have that sort of collaborative nature. So make sure everyone feels involved and their input is listened to, even if you sort of veto it, which sometimes you have to do, and say, no, we're not going to do that. Give them a reason why, and say, no, this is why. This is the brief. We need to deliver this. It needs to look this way. This is what you wanted initially. So we're not going to do that. We're going to continue with this down this path. But yeah, it all boils down to getting the best end result. And that again. That's being collaborative. That's working together, and just what's the best shot? What's the best backdrop? What's going to make the end video look better? What's going to help tell the story better? And I think, like, for me, that's what's always in my mind. Always. So when you're doing a shot and you're thinking, how is this going to fit in? Is this going to make the final cut? Where will it fit in that final cut? So you're always trying to sort of piece the puzzle together in your head, and that all starts in pre-production, even before you get there, because you write the script, you write the shooting plan, you're liaising with the client, you're painting the picture about what you're gonna film, or what kind of story you're trying to tell. So it's a long process, and it's a long collaborative process.
So kind of that collaboration is really important in your work and in kind of getting that end result.
1,000,000%. Yeah, 1,000,000%. It's filmmaking, as far as I'm concerned, creating videos for clients, it's hugely collaborative. You might get some really intelligent mavericks out there who just go and do it their own way, and good luck to them. But for me, it's all about listening to the client, working with the client, and yeah, just having that sort of single focus about getting the best end product.
Cool. So, I wanted to ask about that kind of being creative and having creativity in your life. So, creativity's been like, there's so much research on that it helps our well-being, that we need it in our lives, like we need food and water. So how does creativity benefit kind of your life and your own personal well-being?
Yeah, hugely, particularly of late, obviously with the whole lockdown. It's there's two sides of the coin, actually. I mean, yeah, obviously the plus side is huge. I count myself really, really lucky um, to enjoy writing, creating characters and storylines and things like that. And because that's, like I say, with what's been going on of late specifically, and we've obviously not been able to go out filming, and we've spent a lot of time indoors adhering to the government advice and things like that. So yeah, being able to sort of lock yourself away in a different world for 2 or 3 hours and escape really what's going on, is so important. It's helped me no end. And the plus side to that is, those stories and those new worlds that I've been writing about, hopefully we can bring those to the screen next year at some time. So it's also being productive as well. It's stuff that we can put out through StoryJar and hopefully to entertain audiences. So yeah, that has helped me. I don't know what I would do without that outlet. Not being able to go out and play football, for example, not being able to do all the things that you normally do, that gives you that release. And so yeah, writing and has been huge. On the flip side, writer's block is that is a horrible thing that can kind of cause you a bit of stress. But I think with all the time I've had sort of on my hands throughout lockdown, it was quite easy to get over writer's block. You've got a lot of time to think, and you just start writing and it starts coming out. So no, hugely important. And not just this time, all times of my life. It's nice to have that escape. I'm going to go and do this 3 hours writing and really get my teeth into this project, and it's rewarding.
Mm. So that kind of escapism and that
Yeah.
outlet, and the process of kind of making a film, and when it kind of gets out there and is shown to the client, or is shown on multiple platforms, what's that like?
Yeah, and that's the reward. That's the really all that hard work, all the prep, all the filming and the collaboration and editing, all the post production. It's a huge process. But yeah, when you see the client, when you get the feedback from the client, and then they share it and it gets all the reshares and the comment, you're just like, yes, it's a great feeling. Yeah, it really, really is. And that's what we do it for, I suppose. You want to happy clients, and obviously that breeds more future work and future projects, and it allows us to grow as well. So yeah, win-win.
Win-win. I'm just going to throw this one in there. What would you say to somebody who wants to be doing what you're doing and is maybe in a job where they're like, they are feeling a bit stuck and they are a bit like, oh, is this it? What would be your tip?
Yeah, I don't want to say just go for it, because obviously, it can be a bit irresponsible. Don't just quit your job or anything like that. But I would start planning. If you've got an idea, let's say you're looking to set up a video production company, but not like with me, for example, I'd always kept my hand in video production. I'd done, weddings and things like that, and I understood, how sort of cameras worked and things. So I had a good idea, but I was still sort of 8 years, 10 years out the fold, really. Yeah, just do a bit of research. Start creating. Just get out there and start creating. Speak to some local businesses. even not businesses, people who've got interesting stories to tell. I think a lot of people have seen Tiger King, for example, on Netflix, and if you can find, there's characters in every corner of the world. If you can find a good character or somebody who's got a good story, somebody who's good on camera, then get them in front of the camera, tell that story, even if it's just a 5-minute short documentary, and just get experimenting. And if you're serious about it and you want to make a business out of it and you want to sort of do it full time, then I would recommend doing that, building a bit of a portfolio, get a website, which you can do for these days for next to nothing, and sort of build it from there, and do that whilst you're working full time.
So get planning, get creating, and get out there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Just do it. Don't be scared, because you still, I still get scared. You will. I'm sure even the MDs and the directors over at Adam and Eve and Satya have their moments. It's just business, and that's the way it is. But just make a start, take those first steps, and see what it is. What's the worst that can happen?
You should be a coach.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you.
Cool. So what are your big, obviously we're in a strange time, we're hopefully coming out of it. What are your kind of big dreams or next big steps for StoryJar?
Yeah, well, obviously it has been a tough time. So at the moment we're just, we're sort of reaching out to our client base and the people that we were sort of speaking to before the lockdown about projects that were planned, and trying to reschedule them in, maybe for later this year and into next year. So yeah, we need to really get on top of that and get things booked in. But yeah, I think beyond that, yeah, we want to have another great, this year is supposed to be a really sort of milestone year for StoryJar, in terms of things like revenue and things like that. But we're going to need to try and achieve that next year. So that's a big challenge in itself. But keeping it on the sort of creative vibe, I think, like I say, what we've been able to do through this lockdown period is write a lot of scripts and short films and even feature films. So I think next year is what I would really like to do is to do a feature film. I really would. So yeah, if it's one thing I've learned from lockdown, it's don't take the sort of creative freedom or your freedom for granted. And I think in order to celebrate that, providing we're not still in lockdown next year, I don't even want to joke about that. But touch wood, providing everything's back to normal, I think celebrate sort of creative freedom and being able to get out and do things by doing this feature film, which is a goal, which is something that I personally always wanted to do. So it's back to those sort of principles, or what we talked about. Just getting out there and doing it. What's the worst that can happen? It flops. If people say it's crap, okay, I give it a go. But it won't be. It'll be Oscar worthy.
Amazing. So lessons from lockdown: don't take creativity or freedom for granted, and just kind of go for it while you can, I suppose.
Yeah. I think so. I think that is certainly, I don't think anyone's going to forget this period of 4 months, whatever it's been, of not being able to do normal things and see people. And it's, I'd like to see next year people getting out there, and I don't want to say taking risks, but just doing things that maybe they've always wanted to do. Like I say, for me it's making a feature film. Obviously StoryJar will continue to work with our clients and new clients and build the business, but do those things that you've always wanted to do.
Yeah, amazing. It makes me think about the day that we did the film, which was about 15 days before lockdown or something. And it's just a special day because we went all over, but there was also that kind of like, something's coming. We need to get on with this.
It was, I think that was, it was probably the last shoot that we did. before lockdown, and yeah, it was a great, typical sort of London afternoon. Oh, London, it was 2 days, wasn't it? So, classic London, all over the place, great,
Yeah.
good energy, people everywhere. And then, yeah, 15 days later,
Yeah.
just barren. It's crazy, yeah. Such a
So,
contrast.
thank you very much for sharing all of your things. Is there anything else you would like to share?
No, I think I've talked your ears off for long enough. Thanks for, thank you for inviting me on the show.
On the show. Woo! Cool. Thank you so much, Ben. And yeah, check out StoryJar. They are amazing, and I'm looking forward to the coming soon of the feature film, or even the script from your old
Yeah,
brain.
yeah. It won't be that. It's not going to be that. I can tell you now. No, it'll be something much cooler.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Liz.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.